Seggs. I got pregnant within 90 days.
And of course, why isn't this working? That's weird. Oh. There we go. It looks good. Perfect. I think we're good. And we can start talking about what we came here to talk about here. Get this shit out of here. Get out of here. Okay, cool. All right, I hope everyone is having a great day. Listen. I'm not one for intros, so we're just going to jump. We're just going to dive right into it. So me and my friend, this is what these spaces / podcasts are usually about. I typically talk about, I bring to light the conversations that I have, like, with my friends and stuff like that. And, you know, one of the discrepancies between man and woman, which is just really interesting, right, is that men provide things that are tangible, right? And women provide things that are intangible. You know, you can't, like, the stuff that a man provides or brings to the table is something that you could literally get, you can exchange for some sort of monetary value. Whereas loyalty, that depends on how the loyalty is. Being caring, that's depend on the person and what you consider caring and stuff like that. So, the question here, and we're going to react to a video, shout out to Pink Book Lessons. This is where this particular clip came from. We're going to talk about what do you like about the opposite sex, whoever you are on, whatever side that you're on. It's always interesting to see, but we're going to take a look at this lady that is totally accountable for her actions of, I don't know, not knowing what she wants out of a situation or out of a relationship. So we're going to go right into there. We're going to play this. It's going to play aloud, and we're going to stop it every 30 seconds so we can kind of talk about it, right? So let's start this shit right now.
Fast, I got pregnant within 90 days of knowing my baby daddy. And we don't talk about this because it's embarrassing and it hurts. It fucking hurts. And I'm mad with me. I'm not mad at men. I'm not mad at my life. I'm mad at me because I don't know how to fix me. I don't know how to fix it. That's accountability.
Now she is spazzing right now. She's hurt. She's hurt because in this particular video, which you can kind of find out if you go to the Pink Book Lessons, and if you go onto my YouTube channel, which is Alyssa Therapy, you'll see where the video is, and maybe I'll post that in there. And actually, now that I think about it, I need to post this particular thing just in case somebody bump into this and here into the spaces so you guys can see it. So the YouTube channel is Alyssa Therapy, so you'll see that in here. And what's curious about this is I think society kind of tells men and women what they want instead of us kind of following what they want. It's more so on the woman's side than the man's side, and only due to the fact that women are more involved with social media than men. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a thing. They get bombarded with a whole bunch of stuff, and that's what kind of messes them up in particular. But let's hear the rest of this. Let's hear how this pans out.
That's the shit that hurts. It's realizing that, hey, I got some shit with me that I don't know how to fix. And in turn, because I don't know how to fix that shit, I'm fucking up other people around me. That's accountability. That's the shit that we don't put on social media.
Now, that's the interesting thing, right? I feel like she, at this moment, discovered that, wow, like, I really messed up. Like, I totally messed up on what I should have been looking for in a relationship. And I think we need to be honest with ourselves, honestly. We got to be honest with ourselves as to what we want. So, I kind of jotted down for me, as I actually asked somebody this in the first place about what does he want in a relationship. And this is what a guy's perspective is. And a lot of guys get stumped when it comes to this too. Like, they get super stumped because they don't know what to say. See, when a woman wants something out of a man, it usually is something monetary. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's be completely honest. It's usually monetary as to what a woman would want. A guy needs to be a provider, so he needs to show his worth by monetary value. He has to be a protector, so he has to show himself as someone that could whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? Someone that could whoop ass, I should say. So he has to be that way. You know what I mean? So that was one of the other issues. These are stuff that are quantifiable that you can look at and you can see how big the guy is if he is the traditional, lumberjack type dude, the traditional guy. You know what I mean? So you got money in terms of career. You have the size in terms of, if he is a good protector. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward when it comes to a man and what a woman can identify. But when you ask the same question, what do you like about the opposite sex besides sex? Then you hear crickets if you take away the sex, right? So that doesn't mean that a woman's worth is less, and it doesn't mean that a woman's worth is just physical. But you got to really break it down. Like, even women, if you bump into this particular space, what do you see? What do you see as a guy? Like, what do you think that a guy wants out of you is the question that you should be asking yourself. You have to kind of ask yourself, what do you think a guy wants? And you will hear this a lot too. They'll say, oh, a guy wants peace, but what is that? I'm going to tell you right now, contrary to what Kevin Samuels has said, it's not peace. It is one of the things that should be there, but it isn't peace. Because what is peace? You know what I'm saying? How do you quantify that as anything? And I get it. I also actually had this conversation with my friend as well about my friend is very scholastic. He anything that he's gifted in is something that can be measured, right? Physically, in the physical world, it can be measured. He's very analytical. I am not very analytical in the traditional sense. I usually pick up vibes and fill that out. And I honestly, I don't know what to say about that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel vibes and shit like that, but I can't put that. I can't test how many vibes or how much vibe I'm feeling at the moment. And so it felt like it was unfair, but sometimes in life, you just gotta, it's not a bad thing to have something that's not traditionally measurable. You know what I mean? But going back to what we were talking about here in terms of a traditional woman, in terms of what a woman has to bring to the table, and eventually I'll get to diving deeper into this, right? Because it's going to get dark, and I hate to say it like this, but it's going to get dark. Men are supposed to be the thing that the entity that provides for the woman. So we have to bring something to the table that's physical. But that's not how a woman functions. What a guy care about when it comes to a woman, and this is what a woman, if they want a successful relationship, this is what they should do and should focus on if they want a successful relationship. It's not about it's part of it being submissive, but what a guy cares about is if you are a genuinely caring individual, if you care about your man, you know what I'm saying? Like if you really care about your man's well-being, really care about his safety, really care about his enjoyment and things of that nature, and unfortunately in exchange, the guy is supposed to be the protector and the provider. It's just, that's how things are, and everything is topsy-turvy right now. So it's like, it's very difficult to really talk about these things. But yeah, caring, supporting. So not necessarily telling the guy what to do, but supporting what the guy is trying to do is what we really, really care about. You know what I'm saying? That's what we really care about. Men have a hard time listening to anyone really about what they're trying to do, moving them along. You know what I'm saying? It's a very difficult thing because men have egos, you know? We don't want to hear anyone else's take on something. We just don't. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. So the best thing a woman can do is to support, not change, but to support. That's what we are typically looking for. Somebody, a guy have a crazy ass idea, right? And you have to trust, you know what I'm saying? To know that if you do support your man, he is going to provide. We need that support and structure. We definitely need that support and structure as men. So there's a viewer that's in here. I'll just kind of recap. The question here is, what do you like about the opposite sex other than sex, right? And a woman is easy for her to answer. He needs to be a protector, big and strong, right? And he needs to have money to make sure that he provides for the family and herself. But when you ask that same question to a guy, they are usually stumped. And I think that society kind of puts shackles on that. You know what I'm saying? They put that shackle on there, and we can't be honest with ourselves. What a woman provides is something that can't be measured in a traditional sense. Just can't be measured. Can't be measured. What a woman what a woman can provide that is valuable and it's just completely, and it's invaluable to a guy, is if she is a legitimately caring person. Like none of this masculine shit where I don't need a man and I don't need you to be there, and you know, I don't really trust you in terms of what you're supposed to do and your purpose. You know what I'm saying? I don't think either sex really trusts each other. You know what I mean? Guys can't trust women to be supportive, because typically they're not. And women can't trust men to be a provider, because typically they're not. You know, they don't have good jobs, or, you know, deadbeats or whatever they choose. It's all effed up. Put it that way. It's all effed up. You know what I mean? And you just got to kind of take, you know, the good with the bad in that one. That being said, I think what a guy is looking for, at least for me, women that are caring, women that are supporting, right? And a woman that could suggest, you know what I'm saying? I.e. nurture. You know what I mean? Support and nurture are two different things. Actually, let me just kind of find the definition of the two, right? So let me take a look here. Support. All right, let me see here. Nurture. Definition. So to care for, encourage, or encourage the growth or development of. Okay, so if that's the case, what is support? So to bear all part of or hold up, right? So hold up. When we are having this particular difficult time with supporting, a woman needs to be able to reinforce what we are doing and hold us up. And to encourage, give us the encouragement to proceed and continue to do what we need to do so we can support. Lead us into the right direction. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got the direction, but keep us focused is what we're looking for. And if we are honestly honest with ourselves when it comes to things like that, I really do believe that things could be a lot better. What's going on? Why can't I remember your name? I'm calling you. I know it's not Salty. I know it's some other name that you go by. I can't remember that shit. I'll call you Salty. I know your name, but you keep changing your fucking name. So basically, what I'm saying here is that, and it's funny because if you ask yourself this question, right? Ooh la la, he wants to chit chat. Yeah, I'm not going to stay too crazy into this right here, but I am interested in what you have to say before we close out here, man.
C-Bomb, my name, man.
C-Bomb, yeah, there you go. I couldn't remember that shit for the life of me, yo. I'm like, damn, you just fucking read. Why don't you ask Elon to unlock that account of yours that got blocked?
Yeah, I've put in the request, mate, to get my white chocolate account back.
The white chocolate?
Yeah. I won't mind that one back, mate. I did some of my best trolling on that account.
So let me ask you a question. There's two questions I want to ask you before I close out here, because I don't like having these in particular shows too long, because you don't get the people don't like talking about the shit. Let's be honest. Gaming is easy to talk about. This shit isn't. But in terms of Elon, right? Do you think he should unlock? Do you think he should have almost like a freer platform than what it has been in terms of Twitter?
I wouldn't necessarily say, give everyone their accounts back. I think what he needs to do is assign someone to go through all the accounts that have been suspended in recent years and determine whether or not the reason that was suspended was valid.
What would you consider a valid reason?
Racism, sexism, being derogatory in any way, shape or form, doxing. They're valid reasons. Like my white chocolate account, that got suspended because I called someone a simp. And that was it. It was gone.
So here's what I think, right? Remember, I'm a black dude, right? And I do, we're not talking about freedom of speech because you have consequences and shit like that. I get that, right? But I do think that the more you try to suppress somebody, the worse it gets. So, like, for instance, if you have any kids, specifically a daughter, you told her ass, you got two daughters, okay? You tell your daughter to stay in the house, you can't do this, she is going to want to do it even more. So I think what's happening with all this racist shit that's popping up is because they're acting out, you know what I mean? I think, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be totally honest. Everyone's racist to some degree, for something.
I can agree to that.
It's, people don't say it, and on top of it, and that doesn't make you wrong necessarily. And when I say wrong, I mean like it doesn't make you, because people have reasons for being racist. You know what I'm saying? And it always usually boils down to fear. That's what it always boils down to. Afraid of being taken over, or jealousy. One of the two. Like you don't like what you have, but typically it's fear. I think the only things that should be banned is anything that interrupts or disturbs the flow of, like, day-to-day living. You know what I'm saying? Doxing people. That should be definitely something that you should be banned for. In terms of, let me just think here. I know this is off topic from what we were saying. Now I'll ask you the second question. The other thing is, if you are garnering an action of violence, then that should be blocked. But in terms of people and their opinions, no.
Opinions could never be blocked because, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
It shouldn't be blocked, because here's the thing. The more people say, I don't like this, and report people, you're giving these companies that are supposed to be like an open forum, you're giving them like a hierarchy, or not hierarchy, you're giving them reign to control a particular narrative. And depending on the time, they're going to control it in a particular way, in a certain direction. And in this particular case,
all you've got to do, mate, is just look at Twitter itself. You know, whenever a racist or a bigot or anything like that gets called out in the community, they're always called out the same way by quote retweeting them, giving them more attention, making more people see the shit that they're putting there. You know what I mean? That's the shit that we need to be stopping. We need to, if you see something, just report it and move on. Don't quote retweet it. Don't fucking spread it around. Just report it and move on.
I would say this: if somebody says I don't like black people for whatever reason, block them. If you cut the attention off from people, who are they going to tell? They're going to be fucking talking to themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Eventually, they're going to be talking to themselves and they'll lose interest. That's how it always was, and especially when it comes to bullies and shit. Ignore a situation and it goes away. It always works. You know what I'm saying? These people that are claiming to be racist.
It doesn't always work, because
we're it's a blanketed statement.
You've had I don't know if you've ever seen him about or whatever, but there was an account called Take This L. And he was, even if you ignored him and you just let him be and, muted him or whatnot, he would be on your posts every fucking time, just posting bullshit, trying to get that reaction. And after so long, you're just like, mate, what the fuck are you doing?
So here's the thing. That's disruptive to day-to-day life. So that's a situation that should be reported. But in terms of somebody just legitimately has a grievance with something, like, again, there's a whole bunch of people that say they don't like PlayStation. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I don't care, and vice versa, or whatever the case is. I mean, I try to make content, obviously, because I like talking about games, but it's about as far as it goes. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you should be able to say your opinion piece so long as it doesn't interfere with the day-to-day, you know what I'm saying, life and stuff like that. If it's going to garner up violence or disrupt things, then yeah, that should be reported. So I mean, honestly, there's so much censoring going around, and people, we didn't even know how we got here. You know what I'm saying? At one point, we were able to say a decent amount of things without being offended, but everyone wants to be a victim at this point in time, so they just keep reporting things. People say some ugly things.
I honestly don't get how in 2022, mate, given, like, when we were like teenagers and stuff, how is our generation getting offended when we were raised up on fucking South Park?
It's like facts.
You know what I mean?
Like facts. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's the victimhood and the narcissism. So a lot of times when a person gets what they want, right? They feel like they have some sort of empowerment. So when you do get somebody blocked or banned or whatever the case is, it makes them feel stronger. And then plus, people want to be on the moral high ground too, to say that, look at me, I'm helping something out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like working in silence and in darkness, in terms of what you're doing. If you are really altruistic, no one should really be knowing what you're doing, because just flat out. Too many people are looking for praise or looking for something, and it's caused in this particular culture. Everyone wants to be famous, and everybody wants to be, and in their own little personal reality TV show. But my question to you is this, right? What do you think women like about men?
Well, I mean, I'll go off my own experiences, and like, for example, about 10 years ago, I was in a decent job. I was making, well, for the time, I was making decent money, and I had a bed, and she was all about, let's go out for a meal, let's go out shopping, let's do this, anything that costs money, so there's certain women out there that are literally only looking for that money bag. Then you've got you've got the other type of women, which I would only describe as shallow, but I don't quite think that's the right word to describe them. The ones where it's all about, if he's any less than 6 inches, it's a no-go for me. And then you've just got the bitches, the ones who think that because you're a man and they're a woman, You know, they have the last say in anything. They can control, dictate, and manipulate you in any which way, shape, or form. And then you get that final, last category, and they're of rare breed. And they are the loyal ones. They're the ones that see and sense that you're upset or that you're struggling. The ones that support you. The ones that will, you know, you're ill and they'll take care of you. And yeah, so it all depends on the women, mate. It really does. But genuinely, I would say that majority of women overall, what they look for is what you said back when I joined, mate. Looking for that strong man, the protector.
And I think that's fair because genetically we are like predisposed to do it. You know, we can't help ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for something to protect, or what was it? Protect and provider. That's what we can't help it. So let me ask you this then. This is where it becomes dicey, right? I'm going to say some fucked up shit, yo, but it is what it is. What do men want from women?
I'd say what men, well, again, I'll go from my own personal experiences here, but what I want from women is honesty. And that is literally, if they're honest with me, I'm happy.
So we don't really have things, I was saying this earlier, we really don't have things that are quantifiable that we want from women. Something that can be written on paper or you can monetarily gain, right?
Yeah, I mean, men are predisposed to, you know, go for the women who's going to provide them with the most children, you know, the most security at home and that kind of thing. But that's for procreation though. But that's for procreation, right? But you're still, if things were normal, women would be submissive. You know what I'm saying? They'd be in a more submissive supporting role, but that's not what we got now for many reasons, which I won't go into, right? But for the most part, what we are attracted to physically, right? Because I say without sex, but physically we are attracted to a particular body type. That's something that we can't really help. Just like a woman want tall dudes, you know what I mean? Guys with broader shoulders, that's what they want. We as men typically want, you know, curvier ladies, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But on top of the attitude, we're looking for something that is more supportive and caring. I think caring is caring is like number one. If women understood how much a guy wants a woman that legitimately cares about them or have that caring, you know, a vibe to them, or they legitimately care about their well-being, which in turn will help them support and nurture. You know what I mean? Nurture meaning keeping a guy on the right track, especially when we're like, since we're providing, right? If you're going to like caveman shit, right? We're dealing with a lot of stress, right? And we get beaten up. So when we go home, we're looking for somebody to kind of like build us back up again, reinforce, you know what I'm saying? Galvanize, you know, so we can do it again. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that could be either, you know, fellatio, rubbing our back, making us a sandwich, whatever the case is, you know, and just having that caring, like I care about you. I want you to continue to provide for me. So I want to keep this machine well oiled so I can continue to be providing, right?
Yep.
That's what caring is such a big thing.
There's two main sayings, like, there's two sayings I've got where basically this is my expectation, and if you expect your expectation to be met, this is what needs to be done. And that is, if you want to be treated like a queen, treat him like a king.
Right. It's a symbiotic relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I don't think that like you can't have.
Sorry, go on.
No. Go on.
Yeah. The other saying is a woman should make a man's dick hard, not his life.
I heard about that one. but it's true. So the thing is, right? It's supposed to be a symbiotic relationship, yin and yang, right? You cannot be dominant without a submissive role. What are you dominating if there's no submissive role? that's what's fucking up. And the thing is, a dominant role should go to the more qualified person. Typically,
yeah, totally agree, man. Totally agree.
Typically, guys are built, to dominate a situation or lead. That we can't help. That's what we are. The emotional side of things are for women to help us, kind of like decompress and to help children learn and stuff like that. A woman needs to be intuitive because a kid doesn't know what it wants. So that intuitive nature that they have going on, they can navigate all those emotions. They're good at that. And women don't want it. Women don't want that. They don't want to be their role. They want to be something else, which is a huge problem in this world anyway. People just don't want to be themselves.
Hence why the last 8 years we've seen a drastic gender shift where more men act feminine and more women act masculine.
Neither of us are cut out for the job to do the opposite work. A man is not a good woman. It doesn't matter what it is. He will be a parody.
Tell that to Kylie Jenner.
No, I know, right? He will be a parody of what he's trying to emulate, and vice versa. A woman will be a parody of the guy. Like I have a friend that's a lesbian. I'm not really that close with her anymore, like I used to. But it was like a parody. Like everything was forced. You know what I mean? And I've seen her when she was 13 all the way up to when she's in her 30s, and she was just acting. She claims that was normal, Oh, I'm not going to shave my legs, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm not going to shave my armpits. And she's like, yo, what's good, son? You know what I mean? It was like, it wasn't her, you know what I'm saying?
Cringe behavior, man. You know what I mean?
It's
awful, isn't it?
It wasn't her. Likewise, when you have a dude that's trying to be a girl, he's like a parody of a woman. You know what I mean? Yes, bitch. You're such a bitch. You know what I mean? Like that's not a woman act either. So it's like, oh, what's going on here? So the thing is, right? I think we need to go back to the basics of tradition. Honestly, I mean, a lot of people are so against it, but the thing is this, right? And this is where it gets fucked up, right? Where people are going to definitely misconstrue what I'm saying. Do you have a dog?
I don't have a dog, mate, no.
Have you ever had a dog or a pet?
I've had a dog before, yeah.
Did you love your dog?
I absolutely adored my dog, man.
What did your
One
dog?
of the most heartbreaking moments of my life when I had to get him put down.
What did your dog do for you?
It brought me comfort, mate. Because they've got that like sixth sense, haven't they? Where you'll come in, you're a little stressed out because you've just finished work or whatever, or you've had a bad day, and they just sit there. They put their head on you. They make you laugh. They nudge you. They give you the little kisses on the nose and shit, don't they? They just make you feel nice and fluffy inside, if that makes sense.
What did the dog expect from you?
To be fed, to be treated appropriately, to be cared for, to be watered, to be clean, just the general expectations. And
the more you provided for the dog, what did the dog do for you?
The more affection it showed me.
Am I crazy here or am I seeing a correlation?
No, there's definitely a correlation, mate. But it's like you said, people don't want to have this conversation because we live in a generation of snowflakes where people get offended too easily.
Look, I had to say it in such a way because it is what it is, right? I'm going to tell you this, right? If internally I can't allow it, you know what I mean, because of my ego and me being a man, right? But logistically speaking, right, if all I had to do was support you, massage, show you affection, and in return I have a roof over my head, I'm always fed, I'm always protected, and somewhere we meet in the middle when it comes to trust and love, I will take that shit in a heartbeat, other than busting my ass every fucking day at work. To not work, and the only thing I have to do is support my spouse emotionally. You gotta do is support me physically. I would motherfucker.
It'd be brilliant, mate. It really would.
Bro, who wants to fucking work? Who wants to work all the time?
A little thing, mate. Obviously, the job I've got now, I work nights, right? But before I got this job, I had about 4 months where I had no work at all. You know, I was constantly looking for work, getting interviews, not hearing nothing back, having job trials and hearing nothing, you know, not getting the position and everything like that. And this is why I know I've got a good woman, because my missus took overtime at her job to provide for the house and the kids and everything like that, whilst I found the job that I was actually going to enjoy and that I was actually going to be happy in, you know, because she knew that my last job I had before this one, I wasn't very happy in it. I was constantly coming home in a mood. I was stressed out because I had to deal with crackheads every day, you know, and she knew it just wasn't me anymore. I was depressed. I ended up spending more time sleeping on the sofa than actually going to bed, you know what I mean? And she, credit to her, she trooped through it like no one's business, mate. She did the overtime, she got the extra money, she saw me through, she bought the shopping in for 4 months solid, mate. 4 months. And as soon as I got my first payday from the job that I'm in now, it was like, right, you know, the 4 months that you've done, I appreciate all, but you can take a back seat now. And for that 4 months, let's go. I'm gonna go treat you. Come on, you know. So I know I've got a good woman. Whereas my ex, when a similar situation happened with my ex-partner, rather than support me, she went and supported a boss's penis in her mouth. So, you know, you get too tight to women, mate. You know what I mean?
And this is not the shame woman, but you know what that is? What you just mentioned? That's that galvanizing. That's that support. You know what I'm saying? No one's expecting her to do that shit 24 hours a day, but she trusted you, and she nurtured you to get you where you were at. She directed you into a path. You knew where you had to go, which is one of the reasons why you quit your job or left, whatever the hell happened, but you knew you got back on that fucking horse and was all set. And people don't want to have this conversation. You have a lot of snowflakes, right?
Yep.
That don't want to have this conversation that we are friends with on Twitter. They don't want to have to think, like, deep down inside, you know it's true. You know that this is out of
a few months ago, mate, when the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial was going on. No one, and I mean literally no one, wanted to talk about toxic femininity at all.
Nope.
Because apparently it doesn't exist.
Nope. They act like it's such a rare case that will never happen. You don't have to worry about it. Nope. That's what they claim. That's what they claim, and that's full of shit. Let's be.
Mate, you know, going back to my ex-partner, right? She, the one who basically cheated on me and all that lot. She was, to sum it up, is basically I lived Johnny Depp's life. You know, she abused the shit out of me, mentally, physically, emotionally, and it went on for 3 years. She made me feel so small, and it took me years to build myself back up. And I mean years. I was beyond, you know, I was lower than low at the point I left there, and it took me so long to get back up, because every time I took a step up, there was something there to knock me back down, and 9 times out of 10, it was my fucking ex, you know. So
it's almost and that's what I'm going to talk about the next show I'm going to do. Men have been domesticated like a motherfucker. We have been absolutely domesticated because we are very powerful beings. We are meant for power. That's what we are. That's what we are supposed to do. But we can't act out. We can't be. And I see this on podcasts too, right? Women get away with, and I don't want to make it this is a woman or bad thing, because it's not the case. It's just that it's an abuse of power. Just like that girl with the fucking Bayonetta thing. She knew the climate of where we're at, where, you know, you have to, you know, women don't get paid as much. And I knew that's where the conversation was going to go if she was allowed to run. If Platinum Games didn't say anything, the conversation would have went there. Oh, this guy is getting paid more than me, and there's no context to it, and everybody jumped on it. Like, let's be honest here.
Oh, another post today, didn't she? Basically doubling down on what she said.
Of course, because the need to be right, right? I can't be wrong, and I can't show accountability, right? That's what's going on. Typical modern woman shit. That's it's not all women, it's modern women that's causing the issue. And I on YouTube, I posted this one lady, she finally broke down. She's like, yo, this shit sucks. Being a modern woman sucks. I don't have no fucking body. And I'm like 36. Nobody fucking wants me. And I don't want them to deal with me either. So it was very interesting to see that shit, which is one of the reasons why I kind of was like, well, what the fuck do each sex want out of each other? And it
well, again, mate, I mean, going into that, saying that a woman broke down, I mean, going off when I used to work on the doors, right? The typical woman on a night out, she'll have fake eyelashes on, she'll have fake extensions in her hair, she'll have makeup plastered on her face, she'll have high heels on, she'll likely have the tape that pushes up the tits and all that shit, yeah? And then they turn around and be like, but I just want to find a real man. Really? There's fuck all real on you. What the fuck do you want a real man for? You know what I mean? Why are you wanting a real man when there's nothing real about you?
No one wants to take
sense.
No one wants to take accountability ever. Like and it happens to them because they get bombarded by, feel good shit where it's like they are, you know what I mean? They're perfect. There's nothing wrong with them, and I can't say it's their fault either. Completely, because men are the one that's giving them attention. See, the thing is, I truly believe deep down in my whole soul that women values attention more than sex and everything. That's what feels like sex to them, to get the attention. We care about sex. We'll do almost anything for sex. They will do almost anything for attention. We cut that, right? And then that's when the healing begins. We keep simping for these chicks. We keep allowing them to do whatever the fuck they want to do to have a chance at them giving us play, and it's fucking everything up. We as leaders shouldn't do that. We really shouldn't. That's on some bullshit. But here's
it's like I got to work today, mate, right? And basically it was from a comment that I put on a tweet yesterday, and a woman replied to it going, hit me up, or something like that. And basically all I said is, I need me a sugar mama, on about like how expensive games are, how expensive Legos are, and all the hobbies that I take part in, just how expensive they are. And me and the person whose tweet was, we ended up in a back and forth about, it's just expensive, we definitely need a sugar mama. And then this woman, who ironically her Twitter handle is Sugar Mama, she started DMing me. And it's like, oh, I want to spoil you. It's like, right.
I had that shit too. It was like weird.
There's some weird vibes going on here, right? And then straight away she's like, oh, well, just to make sure that you're serious, you send me $45 to my Cash App and then I can spoil you. But I was like, what? No, I mean, one, I don't want to be spoiled by a randomer on Twitter. Two, I ain't sending no randomer $45 fucking dollars or whatever that equates to in English money. Especially considering the chances of me getting that back are slim to none. And three, who the fuck are you to randomly DM someone and say to them, you want to spoil them, but I need to send them money first? Like, where the fuck do you get off saying that shit?
I don't know, man. I'm going to wrap it up with this, right? Like I said before, if everyone just kind of fall back into their traditional roles, like, no one's saying to go back to the 40s where the woman isn't working, but I'll tell you this, though. If I could just put it's weird because women will literally break their fucking backs for their boss, but their man, they won't allow him to lead. So there's always pushback in there. You know what I'm saying? The boss can tell them to do whatever the fuck they want to do. You know what I mean? And make them cry and break down, and they'll still do it. But the second they go home, they're like, I'm not listening to a motherfucking thing you say.
Yeah,
Another.
as bad as it sounds, mate, unfortunately, in recent years, women have got this idea in their heads that they are the boss at home.
Well, because guys allowed them to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's no partnership. It's lopsided.
It's a dictatorship. That's what it is, mate.
So the thing.
Unless, like I was just going to say, unless you can find yourself that woman who is everything that you are looking for, women will try and take control. They will dictate what you can wear, who you can talk to, who your friends are. I mean, my ex even tried to dictate what job I could have.
That's what happened with my friend. I'm not friends with him anymore, but like she was dictating. He couldn't work out. He couldn't do any of that shit. I was like, oh fuck, what? You know what I'm saying? But
you say about the working out, mate. Well, that's one of the reasons why I stopped powerlifting, because of my ex. She didn't like the fact that I went to gym because other women were looking at me.
I think when it came to him, she just legitimately did not want him to enjoy shit. Like, literally. It had to be her or nothing. So, I will say this as I will end this, right? I don't understand why it's so acceptable for a woman. This is what I heard on the podcast, and I was like, damn. And I don't look for these podcasts, to be honest with you. But when I'm taking a shower, sometimes I'll just listen to this shit, like, just to hear something, you know, kind of like white noise. And that's how I get through a lot of things that that I'll listen to, or whatever the case is. But why is it okay for a woman to say, I hate men, and no one would bat an eye to it, right? But if a guy say, I hate women, the whole world comes after this guy.
One word, mate. Empowerment.
Like, it's like, you are not allowed to hate women. What did we do to you? And it's like, I got a list here. You're just an you're just an
you want a list?
You're just an incel. You're not man enough to handle this. Like, all the shaming in the book, man. And oh man, I think my next topic that I'm going to talk about when it comes to this is going to be like, have men become domesticated? This shit is wild, though. Yo, but I do appreciate you.
Like I said, mate, I mean, modern day society, it is a trend that is visible. You know, most men that you see these days, going from the teenage years even up to the early 40s, they dress, they act, and they speak more feminine than what they would have done 20 years ago. And I can't comprehend it. I really fucking can't. I'm all for a man looking after himself. You know what? A bit of manscaping, you know, keeping themselves trimmed, groomed, and all shit like that. That's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that in the slightest. But when you take it to the extent that you're going for pedicures, manicures, fucking getting your nails done, getting your eyebrows done, making sure that your hair's on point, got them super tight fucking jeans on, you know what I mean?
I'm not even talking about that. I ain't talking about.
I feel for the way that men are going. I really do.
I'm not even talking about, like, this is not even about gay people or bisexual people, right? This is regular straight dudes acting like women all together.
Yeah, that's what I'm on about, man.
That's a big distinction, because I've seen guys that I couldn't believe it was on Twitter. This woman, the guy climbs on stage. You probably saw this shit too, probably on your other shits. But he went on stage and allowed this woman to pop a squat and piss all over his face.
Yeah, I saw that. That was fucking disgusting.
What kind of emasculating shit is this? And just the disrespect. This one girl, she climbed up and she squirted on him while he was sleeping. She was like, that's how I like, that's how I like women, or whatever like that. I like them. Oh, what in the fuck?
A more recent example, mate, look at TwitchCon and how many people were paying these female Twitch stars to like step on them and sit on them, so that, and having that as a photo. And it's just like, wow.
Bro,
the way the world is going at the minute, it's just fucking ridiculous. It's going to end up being simps and dickheads. That's all we're going to get. It's fucking pathetic, mate. Really.
It's crazy,
men
too.
Men need to learn to be a man again. They really do.
Honestly, I wish fucking Elon Musk fucking bought YouTube, man. My friend jumped in there and he typed boobs and they blocked that word.
Fucking hell.
Like, you can't even say that even. But it's like the frog sitting in the water and it slowly warms up, right?
Yeah.
It can't even fucking feel it until it's boiling at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? We have been censored like a motherfucker and didn't even know it. This has been going on for the past like 10 years, and a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad motherfucking, like, I don't care about the dude. The dude is a horrible person. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not because he's a billionaire, but he has some questionable shit if you look at Elon and what he did. But
yeah, without a doubt, mate. But I mean, I'm just looking now, and Donald Trump's account's already back up and running, mate, and he's thanking Elon Musk.
well, I don't care about that though, because like I said before, I'm a component of freedom of speech. I don't care about that. Like, say what you want to say. There's consequences, but don't let the fucking platform censor you. That's the thing that like I said, if it doesn't interrupt the you know, the day in the life of the flow of things, I don't really care too much about it. Like, you can mute people. That's why the mute button exists. But when we're taking away, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you're taking away dislike buttons because your feelings, you know what I'm saying, or you don't want people to see, like, that's some bullshit. That's, people needed to call that shit out a long time ago, but they won't, because we're that frog that's being boiled to death. So, and we don't even feel it. They've been gradually increasing the temperature, yo. If you,
I totally agree, man. I really do. Like I said, men need to start taking back that manhood that we used to have back in the early 90s.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's the funny thing is no one wants to have that conversation though, because it's, I don't know why that's why I wanted to say, yo, I'm definitely going to have that conversation soon. I'll DM you too.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Because it's not even, I'm not even talking about chicks at this point in time. The real problem me and my friend talked about isn't the chicks, it's fucking dudes that are allowing people to do all sorts of crazy shit to them. Companies and women alike. It's really ridiculous.
The enablers, mate. The enablers.
I'm like, what the fuck? So,
you know, the ones who will let these women stand all over them in the hope that they get a whiff of the pussy.
That's what it is. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this shit off here. Yo, thank you for joining in, man. I was gonna wrap that shit up.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Not a problem, man. I'll talk to you later, man.
Catch you soon, man.
Take care.
You too, mate. Bye.